Hi, Medford Arts Center Poetry Gathering friends. This is Poe.
That's Tigger.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween.
You go.
Okay. You gonna hold on to this?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
This is gather.
All right. So, happy Halloween. Here we are on the eve of Halloween. So we have a very special segment tonight. As I promised, I wanted to share information about the Medford Arts Center's Poetry Contest. This will be the 13th annual Poetry Contest for adults and the 3rd annual Poetry Contest for high school students. You may have seen our guidelines on the Medford Arts website or in the Pine Barrens Tribune or in the Burlington Times. But just in case, here are the requirements. You may submit up to 3 poems. We are accepting submissions through email, and the email address is PoetryContest@medfordarts.com.
Say it again.
PoetryContest@medfordarts.com. Now this information is on the website, but I will also put it underneath our video, at least to the email address.
One more time.
PoetryContest@medfordarts.com. So there are guidelines, and I'll ask all of you who are interested in submitting to look at those guidelines. But basically, we would like to ask that you include your name, your address, your contact number so that we could reach you via text or phone, and permission to share your poetry online. This year, the contest, which is normally celebrated, actually the awards are usually given out at the Medford Arts Center. This year we'll be doing the event virtually. It will be an online award ceremony. So we would like your permission to share your work or invite you to join in perhaps the Zoom award ceremony. So the deadline for submissions will be November 30th, and the award ceremony will take place on December 21st. And this year the awards, as I said, will be virtual, and we'll share more with you about that as time goes on. If you have any questions about the contest, leave a message for me at the Medford Arts Center. The phone number for the Medford Arts Center is 609-654-6033. So that's what I promised to share.
Send us your poems.
Yes, and please do share your words. And next, we wanted to congratulate our friend Pam Spice for her latest publication, Animal Friends. Pam has authored several other children's books, which I will also list in the description under this video on YouTube. And here is her, in her words, her own special introduction. These special animals are filled with joy, excited because their book is here today. Toko and P.T. say, oh boy, where do we get it and what do we pay? You buy it on Amazon, says young Bo. Jack chimes in and says the lion lives there. Where is Amazon? They all want to know. Now they're confused, afraid there's a bear. Everything's quiet, all eyes open wide. Then all of a sudden, Catbird flies in. He has something to say. He's filled with pride. Don't worry about bears. Let reading begin. So do check out on Amazon Pam's newest book, Animal Friends.
Pam Spice, Animal Friends.
Pam Spice, Animal Friends.
On Amazon.
On Amazon. He makes a great Tigger, doesn't he?
Poop.
So, nature has taken a front seat over the last few months as the best therapist in town. Folks are posting images of beautiful sunsets, tangles of trees, and colorful leaves as they hike and share these images which give us hope. because nature continues on. Here are a few short poems and haikus, also known as vaikus, from our friends. Simple words evoking a lovely image.
First from Pat. Dawn light, softness between the leaves, oh so still. Rain, nature's water fountain. Here comes the sun. A leaf quivers in dawn light. Damselfly, rest up.
And then there are the connections to our friends, which we crave and which help us to keep us moving forward each day.
From Pat. A ribbon of friends, tying the days together. Gifts of the spirit. From Sue. Walking with dear friends. A delightful afternoon. Cherish these moments.
This is from Pat.
Oh, from Pat. Intertwined beings, separate yet connected, need for compassion. And from Sue again, a reason to smile, jack-o'-lantern faces everywhere. And from Pat, searching for delights, ghosts and goblins haunt the street on All Hallows Eve.
And finally, we encourage you to vote along with our friend Limerick Joe, who writes,
It's scary, the things we've been toting, some medical, some political, so foreboding. But we all shouldn't fear, because every fourth year we have the right to get up and get voting. Thank you all. Keep sending those vaikus.
and
What are we going to do next?
I think that we should add to our tradition.
Oh, the tradition.
Yes.
Here, you hold the pillow.
I'll hold the pillow. So last year, or for the past maybe 2 Halloweens, at the Medford Arts Center, we would read
Poe's The Raven.
Mhm.
Now, last year, we were all sitting around the Medford Arts Center together, and I think it was almost maybe 6 of us who ended up reading this all together. We passed it around person to person to person, because this is a long poem. But this time it's just going to be me. But for those of you who aren't familiar with The Raven, when Poe talked about this poem, he said he wrote it methodically. But on the other hand, there's a lot of passion in this. It's about a lover who misses his lover. She's gone. And one stormy night he's visited by a bird, and the bird speaks to him. And it's an unusual poem because there's several different interpretations of it. But you can't miss the emotion. You can't miss the passion. You can't miss the terror in what Poe has written. Hope you enjoy it. This is Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the loss of Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. and the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, or "Madam, surely your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness, peering long, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what there is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter is there stepped the stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing a bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and beast and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamp-lighted gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinied on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "my God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, Respite, respite and nepenthe from the memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh, quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still of bird of devil, whether temper sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore. Desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still of bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell the soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's plutonium shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Another one of our Halloween traditions is to read the world's shortest horror stories. These are horror stories written in sentences and words. So we're going to alternate. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to...
You're scaring me.
Okay. Good.
Okay,
Just wanna make
so,
sure I get it right.
Naomi, you're going to read the first one.
Okay.
All right. This is a horror story written in 2 sentences for a total of 45 words.
Okay. Before it could react, the man produced an axe from his long coat and brought it to rest on the table before me. I carefully chose my words before saying, "Even with a receipt, I cannot give you a refund with all those blood stains."
This one is 2 sentences, but only 33 words. Halloween is my favorite day of the year. It's the only day that I can walk down the street covered in blood and carrying a sack of severed body parts without being judged. All right, this next one is only 19 words.
The grinning face stared at me from the darkness beyond my bedroom window. I live on the 14th floor.
"16 words. They delivered the mannequins in bubble wrap. From the main room, I began to hear popping. Woo. 16-word horror story.
I reached under the bed to find my missing sock, but I felt another hand instead.
Creepy.
Creepy.
12 words. Roses are red, violets are blue. There is someone right behind you. 6 words.
Day 312. Internet still not working.
Yeah, that's scary. That would be very scary. 6 words. Dude, where did the spider go? 5 words.
That door was just closed.
4 words. Did you hear that? 3 words.
IKEA, assembly required.
That's a horror
That's
story.
scary.
2 words. You're next. And now for a 1-word horror story. We're going to do this one together.
We'll do it together.
1, 2, 3. Boo!
Boo!
We hope you enjoyed our horror stories. Write your own and join us next year when we're all together again for Halloween.
This is a very special day. This is the eve of Halloween, but it's also my big brother's birthday. So I want to wish him a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Dom.
Happy birthday, Dom.
And Halloween will be the first full moon since 1944 that falls on Halloween. Is that right?
That's going to be spooky.
And that's going to be spooky. So in honor of a full moon coming on Halloween, we
We're
are going
practicing,
to
We're practicing
practice
our howls.
howling as we say goodbye. So goodbye, everybody.
We miss you.
We miss you. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this.
Be well.
Be well. And maybe if you're at home, you want to howl with us.
Yes, think it's a full moon outside. Let's howl.
Let's howl.
Ooh!